Today, the markets, they're on fire, guys, and it's burning a hole in my wallet. I'll talk about that in a sec, but let's jump right into this. Welcome back, passive income investors. Did I say burning a hole in my wallet? I mean, I'm making it rain, guys. I'm sorry I missed my Monday, guys. I had a couple jobs get shifted around. It was a holiday, family day. I hope you guys got to enjoy it. The markets are doing really well. This is Tuesday market recap. Usually it's Monday market recap for you new subscribers here. Every Monday, usually I break down the basic indices and some of the news you may have missed. And man, there's been a lot going on that is really awesome, especially if you've been investing since the beginning of this year, because the markets in general are both up 10%, the TSX and the S&P, and they are 6% away from their all-time highs. So if you've been buying into the general markets, you're probably doing pretty well at the beginning of the year, or if you've been leveraging in like I have, you're probably pretty happy. I really like what's going on in the market right now. It's very, very interesting, which it usually is, always giving me something to talk about. Hopefully this doesn't get too boring for you guys, but we're going to talk about a few of the things I have written down here, starting with some of the oil companies right now, guys. Oil's on the run again. Oil going higher. And the Trump is not planning on shutting down the government again. I'm sure after his first attempt, things got a little hairy, and he finally, maybe he'll step back from that. I'm sure there's a lot of people at home telling him, look, people want to get paid. They got to work. You get paid. You got enough money. You don't got to worry about it. But these TSA guys, I tell you, I was in Vegas at the time. Some of them didn't look happy. So the Labor Board has advised that there is a ton of job openings right now, guys. So there's a lot of people looking for or offering jobs but not being able to fill them, whereas the retail sales in the industries are kind of flat and they're a little disappointing at this point. They've been a little lower than usual. Now there's been so much going on with like Trump and China, and everything's kind of been cooling down. So there's not a lot of fighting or battering it out anymore, which is good for us. People have been really over exaggerating how bad the markets have been, and we're finally starting to see this recovery, because I thought we were in a correction, not a crash, and a lot of people pushed it, I think, a little bit too far and beyond, considering the S&P is making its fifth quarter of double-digit year-over-year growth, guys. We're talking like a 13% growth here. The S&P has been doing insanely well, and we've been seeing an incredibly large amount of growth, and a lot of people think that you can't have a 10 straight year run. We're starting to hit records right now without having a recession, but it's not uncommon. I mean, if you look at like Australia, there's a few other countries that actually haven't had any serious recession, depressions, or anything like that in quite a long time. I think Australia actually has the longest running index without a crash. So to think that we can't go without following some kind of rhythm is insane to me. We always think that there should be a straight recession. We should think the past repeats, things like that. I think there's a better saying that, the past rhymes, it doesn't repeat. So we're heading into a new phase in the market, and I think people need to relax, and anybody that jumped out of the boat is now going to be getting into FOMO, fear of missing out, guys, where they're going to be jumping back in, trying to catch up on the gains they missed. Because remember, when the markets drop, if you are selling, if you are trading, that's when you're going to run into issues, guys. But if you're a long-term investor like me, you just see them discounts and you be buying all the way down, because that's what I did. And I'll explain about that a little bit. Some of you already know, but to the newbies at this channel, I'll get back into that toward the end of this. But moving on, I talked briefly last week about John Deere, the Deere company, guys, because they do have some footing in China, and it is a very good way to see how these trade wars and things are going on with the companies that actually work in China. Now, they did, I believe, I'd have to double check on this. I don't know if they missed estimates. They missed something. The stock actually came down, but the revenues beat. They had a $785 million quarter. They did very well. They had a lot of good growth, and John Deere was really happy about it, and clearly showing that the economy really isn't that bad, even with these trade wars going on. And I don't know, guys, you just kind of got to remember, everything in life always tries to find a middle ground. So anytime you are making your channels on your charts, if things get too exuberated, and remember, they're probably going to come back to some median. Same if they drop too low. Again, it's something hard to gauge. You kind of got to build some intuition to figure that out. Now, I want to look at the SNC company. I can't believe I didn't know this controversy was going on. I only heard about it because I know someone that was trading stocks that sold out of this company just before this company tanked, but now might be a buying opportunity. I've been looking into it. I haven't been able to do enough homework to feel comfortable buying it yet, but it's something that should be on your watch list, especially if you live in Canada. So there's been some major controversy. I know most of you that watch this are actually from the States, but the government is in this very big scandal right now where they paid a company, specifically SNC is the ticker symbol. It's called Lavalin Group, and essentially they were commissioned to build a nuclear power plant here in Ontario, guys, and it never followed through, but the contract allowed them to still get paid something like $200 or $300 million. It was an absurd amount of money, and now it's finally backlashing on them, and the government thinks there were some hands in some pockets. People are stepping down out of office. It is a major controversy going on here right now, and it's taken SNC stock all the way down, guys, and it's been really plummeted into the ground, and this is a massive construction and utility company. So this company does everything from building, constructing, and managing nuclear power plants, natural energy products. They do mines, they mine diamonds. They have a very good global exposure, guys. They're kind of like really laid out all over the world. And the more I looked into it, the more impressed I was by it. But those big companies that are employing, like 50 or 15,000, I can't remember. I think this company has about 15,000 employees or something. It's a massive conglomerate company in the billions, guys. And when they dip like this, usually it's a good opportunity to take a second glance at it. It's paying over a 3% dividend yield. They have been paying dividends since the 80s, and they have had it grow consistently over time, guys. They haven't had it year over year grow with their dividend, but over the long haul, they've managed to increase it over time. They've never decreased it, and they have a very good, reliable dividend. These are the kind of companies that I call they're like tankers. They're the kind of stocks that you're not going to see a huge amount of growth out of in the long term, but you're going to get a standard return that's going to be very stable, and nothing's going to sink that ship usually, guys, because they're just so insanely diversified. So I'm going to keep looking into it. Well, this one's hit my watch list for a utility. I might add it. I'm just going to keep watching it. I'll let you guys know if I do end up buying it. But for now, check it off as a research stock, and maybe we'll look into it. Let me know if you guys know anything about it in the comment section below. The last two things I want to look at, guys, but if you haven't been watching the Bitcoin, it has actually been on quite a bit of a run, but the volatility in it never seems to cease. It's been really flat, and then all of a sudden, I guess today it's decided it's going to get some legs spread up and do a little bit of a jog, but usually that's followed by a wicked crash. You guys probably aren't going to like me if you like Bitcoin. I am, by God, no means a fan of it. I think it's one of the worst assets ever, but then again, it has always outperformed gold, guys. Gold has been a really interesting thing to talk about lately. I have just liquidated a huge amount of gold, like over $30,000 over the last 2 years. I've had a lot of it. I just liquidated the last little bit of it, guys. I think you saw I was posting some of it on eBay. So gold, though, has been on a bit of a run, especially if you are in another currency right now, guys. Gold in Canadian dollars is reaching all-time highs. It's just about to peak over to new all-time highs. If you are holding gold in US dollars, well, you're still kind of flat. You got a little ways to go before you're going to see any real return if you were buying at the highs something like 5-7 years ago. Gold as an investment, guys, I do not like it. I do not want to own it. The reason people seem to like gold is because most of it's paper traded, and it seems to be like there's a scam going on with the governments where they're hoarding gold, but for some reason gold's being manipulated down, and most gold and silver sold today is on paper. It doesn't actually exist. It hasn't been mined out of the ground yet, so they say, and people have actually gotten sued over this. JP Morgan, there's a few companies, banks that were selling paper versions of actual assets, but when they went to ask for the assets because they were paying a storage fee, they never got those assets, guys, so they sued some of the banks, which people keep thinking that gold should just spike, but it's a speculative play. So if you're one of those gold buds that think gold should just explode one day, which it kind of should. If you watch a lot of the gold guys, Peter Schiff, I get why they're into it. But honestly, it's a gamble. It's a speculative play, guys. It's a manipulated play. I don't understand it. And to put money into it to try and take that kind of risk that you don't ever know is going to play out is kind of silly to me. Again, I like the stability of cash flowing investments that I understand very well. So that's why I got rid of most of my precious metals, because I want to moat. I want to understand these companies, what they're selling, and what stability they have, and knowing that I'm going to get an income check every month or every quarter, guys. I'd rather take that over a shiny piece of metal I've got to bury in my basement somewhere and hope that no one steals it, hope that I don't forget it is there, or I die or something and it just goes missing. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it when I know I can put something in the bank and go anywhere in the world and collect checks no matter where I am. That to me is a lot more appealing. But we got lots to talk about, guys. I got some more videos coming up. I'm going to try and post one more today because I missed yesterday. yesterday as my jobs got shifted around. Thanks so much to the new subscribers for joining this passive income investor's journey, guys, where every month I'm going to kind of update you on my dividends and my passive income growth as I try and chase financial freedom, as I hope you are as well. Slap a like on this, guys. Comment in the comment section below if you can help me out with anything going on here, if there's any news that I missed. But stay cool, stay awesome. If I don't see you later today, I'm going to see you tomorrow for sure.